Yeah, get us a good shot, and
we're filming it here. We're filming here. We'll probably use the wide, so whatever is not blocking. How does this even work? I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. You're about to chop this bottle open with a sword?
Yeah. I mean, if we want to.
yeah,
Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, we're already filming. It's already
let's
going.
yeah, we're
Let's
good.
start it
Let's
out.
do this, baby.
Okay.
Show us the way.
Okay, so when you saber, here's your saber.
Okay.
What you're doing is you're literally taking this off the bottle. So this will just...
The ring.
The ring. This will just fly off harmlessly into the fireplace.
And
then we will enjoy our wines.
okay, let's do it. Now you're wearing safety glasses, and Brian and I are not.
Yeah, but this should be very easy. I mean, it's just...
It's amazing.
Okay.
That's it.
That's wild.
Beautiful.
How crazy was that?
It's a hell of a party trick right there. How many times have you done that?
A few times.
Look at the clean
That was
cut.
effortless.
What are we drinking here, Kareem?
Drinking Paul Bethune. It's
Oh, yeah.
champagne from Ambonnet. Champagne is my guilty pleasure.
Okay.
What makes champagne so delicious versus other sparklings is that, check that out. Just comes right off.
Man, that is clean.
Is
Love
that when they make champagne, they make a still white wine, and they have usually dozens and dozens of wines, sometimes hundreds, depending on the cuvee. And so they have still white wines, and you can make white wine with red grapes. So you can have Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay in Champagne, and a couple other grapes that nobody really uses. But you take these white wines and you blend them together. And what makes Champagne so fun and makes it so rich and delicious is now you have this still white wine and you put it into this bottle, and then they put a little bit of sugar and a little bit of yeast into that bottle. They cap it with like a bottle cap, like a Corona cap, and they put it on its side and they leave it there. And depending on how long and whether it'll be a vintage wine or a non-vintage wine, they leave it. And the sugars are eaten by those yeast cells. The yeast cells then die, fall to the bottom of the bottle, and then start to break down. And they make this like super rich, toasty, croissant-y, brioche flavor. So the longer you leave it there, called laying on the lees, the more toasty it is. The reason I like this champagne is this sits on its lees for about 6 years, which is a long time. So you should taste like it's not just bright and crisp. It is that, but it's also
Cheers.
super brioche and toasty and bready.
And this is why we are at Hajjar Peters,
Oh my God, that's
So good.
amazing.
LLP. Kareem Hajjar, the owner, founder of Trey. You often call me the bookkeeper to the culinary stars.
Yeah.
Well,
Which you are.
Well, Kareem is the lawyer to the culinary stars. Kareem and I have had the opportunity to work together on many projects over the last 15 years. Actually met Kareem as a guest of the restaurant that I was managing, and
Asti?
it was Fino. And so you often, managers tend to scan the room and get a sense of who's in the dining room, what are they ordering, how do they carry themselves, and we were both much younger then, but Kareem always was asking the right questions, ordering the right wines, and was a fun guest to have in the restaurant because he was always trying new things and was very, very interested in not only the cocktail program, but the wine list and the food. And so when I helped Josh Loving go out on his own to
Small Victory.
start Small Victory, which was is our home. That's our home location. So we
Really? It's
yeah.
amazing.
So
Yeah. That's awesome.
Great spot.
we always record in the back booth at Small Victory if we're not out in the world. And so I sent Kareem an email, probably from a very old email address, could have been an AOL address, and said, "Hey, we probably need a lawyer for this. and so Kareem did a great job of helping us with not only the lease, but our private placement memorandum, fundraising, and has continued to just be a resource to Austin restaurants, bars, coffee shops, etc. throughout his career, and does a lot of good work on their behalf. So it's great to have you here. I kind of buried the lead.
Thanks for coming here.
Yeah, it makes it easy.
I'm on home turf. This is great.
Yeah, so, but did bury the lead. He is also a Notre Dame graduate.
Yeah, so as we're scheduling these shows each and every week, and now that we're in the throes of football season, I think you and I together are thinking about guests that make sense week to week with the big matchup happening.
Yep.
Probably more so on the college slate, because I'd say you and I are bigger college football fans than we are NFL fans. But in looking at this weekend slate, and it's a really good weekend. You got Georgia, Tennessee.
Yep.
There's another ranked matchup that's escaping me right now. But the matchup that I care the most about is A&M Notre Dame. I think this is going to be a very telling game for both of these teams. So I said, is there somebody that you can think of in this world that represents one side or the other? I will say that Shane Styles is always the first name that comes to mind for me with the big A&M game, but we're also saving Shane until Texas A&M, because that's also coincides with this 12 Meats of Christmas. Yep. So I don't have the contacts that this guy does, but he knows everybody.
Runs deep.
And so he said, I got a Notre Dame guy, and that's why we're here today. So thank you so much for being our guest.
And a golfing buddy, somebody that I've played golf with before. Obviously, I'm back from my epic Nebraska golf trip. So I was like, okay, I want to talk a little Nebraska golf. I definitely want to talk Notre Dame football. We can talk OU football as well. And how that game played out last week against Michigan. Took care of Michigan.
Yep,
you got to like that.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
Slept well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, we couldn't do the same for Ohio State.
It's okay.
The Longhorns.
It's all right. It's a long season.
Let's talk a little bit about what you do for your day job, since the night gig, the side gig, is following Notre Dame football as closely as possible. Was there something, an epiphanous moment or something else that made you want to get into this particular sector of law, Kareem?
The answer is no.
Okay.
I fell into it by accident. It's a fun thing to fall into by accident. I was a very, very young lawyer in 2003 and had since we're already name dropping on the show, I had a friend and real estate broker reach out to me who was also a former industry guy, a guy named Neil Francois. And Neil said, man, I'm going to get back in the bar business. I'm going to start a bar. And I said, dude, I want that legal work. I just think that would be so fun. I was 25 and lots of 25-year-olds. You're just like, that sounds like a lot of fun to work on. And as it turns out, his two partners in the deal were a guy named Ted Karam, who owns Waterloo Ice House, and another guy named Charles Milligan. And Charles worked with his good friend from college, a guy named Matt Lucky, who's still around, owns dozens of places, and now does all the catering for all the hospitality and concessions, for lack of a better term, for ACL, and now literally dozens of festivals across the country. It's turned into a real enterprise for him.
That's a great guy too.
And so between the three, they controlled 30 or so different units. And it's 2003. We really didn't have a culinary scene here. There weren't places to. I mean, we had restaurants, but there was nobody that was doing it. And I guess it did a good enough job. And that bar ended up being Doc's Motorworks, which was on South Congress for a little over 10 years.
That was such a great spot.
Great spot. And so all of a sudden it went from, all right, I represent Doc's to I represent 30 units of bars and restaurants. And with nobody really in the segment that was really focusing on it, it all of a sudden started to grow. GM leaves. One of the things that's really, if there's one thing that's a constant in the restaurant industry, is that it is always changing, and the labor is going to move. It's a lot like an NFL team. Whoever's on your team this year is not going to be on your team next year. So as GMs grow and go off into the world, and assistant GMs become GMs, and my phone just kept ringing. So I don't know, a couple years later, it was a couple hundred, and a couple years later after that, it was 1,000, and I'll bet we're over 10,000. We probably generate 5 or 6 new restaurants a day. It just happened. It just comes out of the sky all over the country. Just people send an email, have my contact information, and it's real.
So 25 is an age that we don't typically see, especially back in the early 2000s, because I'm in the same category. I wouldn't have classified myself as a foodie back then. I loved food, but I didn't have the understanding that I did. So did you find yourself more drawn into the world of food and wine and champagne and everything else as a result of the work that you do now?
For sure.
Interesting.
I always liked food. Like we all like food, but I always enjoyed food. I didn't grow up eating fine foods or having high-end dining experiences. It just wasn't something that was in my family.
I didn't have sushi for the first time until I was like 29 or 30 years old.
I didn't have an espresso until I started working at Asti, and now I'm the biggest coffee, nerd on the planet, and I won't, I take an entire banker's box full of equipment on any trip I go on with my family because I've got to grind my own beans and I've got to do the right pour over. And literally, Texas fans, you guys can appreciate this. I'm just an Oklahoma redneck. I'm not supposed to be here.
You're like the unfrozen caveman lawyer
I am.
whenever you go into that spiel.
I don't know what your cell phones are. I don't know what your Barolo means. But yeah, I walked into a restaurant, independently owned, and one of the trainings was Emmett was like, you gotta learn how to pull a shot. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Then you start drinking it. You're like, oh, that's not bad. And from there,
it's on.
Next thing you know, you're only drinking, 2-to-1 dry martinis.
It's real.
And so it is, it's right around that age, I think, around 25. You start to say, oh, you know what? I can make my own choices here. I don't have to, I can explore, I can learn. And the cool thing about wine, I sat in the back of Asti. They were great. I'll give, and I try to encourage all my clients to do this. We had a weekly wine tasting, and we had a library. And so I would go in after a lunch shift or before a dinner shift, and I'd pull Vino Italiano or I'd pull the Wine Bible, and I'd just read. And I'd read, and I'd read, and then you taste, and then you read, and then you taste, and you read. And all of a sudden, your brain starts to make those neural connections. It's like, oh, that is dried plum. That is tobacco. That is this. And then you get into, well, what's the region like? What's that climate like? Why is that grape this way here and so different here in terms of cold nights, warm days, seaside breezes? One of my favorite wines is a Sertico, which grows in this little nest on Greek islands where the grapes are protected. So you just kind of, it just kind of like if you've got a brain that is going and you want to dive in, there's no end to it.
And you can do it in 5-minute increments too. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. To me, wine it's an informed drinker's beverage. Like it's you can drink casual Sauv Blanc and just drink it, but once you typically start going down the rabbit hole of where it's from, what it is. But wine is not just grapes. It's studying of soil, it's geography, it's history, it's art, it's a lot. It's really, really fun to learn about. And then now the resources are there that you can do it in 5 minutes a day, just in your spare time. You don't have to go pour through it or take a class. You can just read for 2 minutes and be like, that was cool.
Snap a picture of this label and throw it into ChatGPT, and you're going to get vintage history. You're going to get the new grower, the old grower. It's it's at our fingertips now.
Sure.
And the thing about that is, and it's, you know what, I'll say this about why I think you're a successful lawyer. Demystifying the language, demystifying all the moving pieces that are at play, right? Conveying, hey, this is what this clause means in this lease, and this is why we're going to redline that, and we're going to ask for this. We may not get it, but we're going to ask for it, and we're going to show the other person of this negotiation that we know what we're asking for. We're not coming in here with, we're just not going to sign what you put in front of us. We're going to review it, and we're going to be informed. I always think that you've done a nice job of taking, and I try to do the same thing with bookkeeping or numbers, meeting people where they are and trying to make them comfortable with the choices that they're making, because they are serious decisions. I mean, those are real contracts. Those are real important decisions that you're making. You need to understand what you're doing.
Leases, we're not here to talk about leases, but
No.
they are life-changing decisions that are made casually by 95% of people. And it's not like signing your apartment lease when you were in college that your parents co-signed. If this thing that I typically am putting my life savings in, everything in, maybe my parents' life savings, if that goes badly, I don't just lose that money. I've lost everything. Right? When your rent is $12,000 a month, $15,000 a month, $25,000 a month, how many months can you do that and hang on? Not many. So it's important to look at those docs and make sure that they're sound. And I appreciate the compliment. I say it as trying to translate nerd into English and English into nerd. There's a lot of really smart lawyers out there who can't translate it, and I feel like that's something that does set me apart from other people, and I appreciate that. It's really nice of you to say.
Right.
What you just said adds a whole lot of oomph to the whole location cliche. Like, yeah, where you are matters, but also what you're signing up for with that particular spot
Also matters.
can be life or death.
It really can, and it's as cool as it is to write it up with a client. It is equally sad when that crests and it's going down, and that for me is every day. So clients that are so excited to sign this, let's do it. We want to do it right now. Let's. Why is this taking so long? Why are you taking so much time in doing this? It's about being deliberate, because I see what happens on the other side of the wave, and it's not pretty. Like my glass is legitimately and physically half empty all the time, because I want you to be successful, but you don't hire me to be your cheerleader. You hire me to be there for when the tide is out. And I'm thinking about the tide being out before you've even started. Because I think lawyers have to. That's our job.
Right. Well, because of your experience, though, and because of you seeing enough of the those stories take that negative turn, are you more likely to speak up now than you may have been even 10, 15 years ago? Or is that...
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that the more senior you get as a lawyer, the more outspoken you are. The challenge is you find people that become old, crusty lawyers because they just get so jaded to it all that you have to take the wisdom that you've learned over those years and still keep the same energy and enthusiasm for your clients' ambitions, and not just say no right out of the gate. It's you learn along the way to say, yes, we can do that if, versus saying, no, you can't do that, but.
Or, yes, we can do that. However, have you considered this aspect of
Correct.
things?
Yes, we can do this if we have these clauses in your lease. Then you are appropriately protected, that you won't lose everything that you have if this thing goes south.
Well,
all right. On a more fun note, Notre Dame football.
No. I mean,
I'm really tempted to nerd out for the next.
No, I think and we should, because it's interesting. I'll talk OU Michigan a little bit, and I'll talk about being jaded.
Underwood's the second year law student. Is that what you're about to say?
No, I mean, yes, but and that was part of the reason why we were successful, is because they didn't unleash him, and they didn't have maybe the skill players on the outside. They were missing their best player, their tight end captain. We did have great push on both sides of the line, which is something new for us. We haven't seen that in a long time in Oklahoma. So there was definitely encouraging things, but where I got, we came out of halftime, we got gashed for a 75-yard counter. I appreciate Coach Venables falling on his sword and saying he was in the wrong call, but we weren't in the wrong call.
It was execution?
I think so. Safety linebacker,
Yeah, you were shockingly negative at the end of that game. I expected you to be a little bit more encouraged. You're like, oh man.
Well, I was coming off a week of negative golf. I think the fourth round I bought a new putter at the turn. My last hole of the day.
Wait, seriously?
Yes.
Like you were that pissed off with your old putter? That
Well,
you bought a new one?
Mordecai, who's been taking care of me for a very long time, he needed to know that he was getting benched. And so I walked into the clubhouse at the turn at Wild Horse, amazing public golf course in Gothenburg, Nebraska. If you ever find yourself in Gothenburg, Nebraska, the Comfort Inn Suites is nice and clean, and Wild Horse, it's like top 3 public courses in Nebraska. It's top 50 in the country.
You said it's like UK golfing? Is that what you told me?
It's very similar to Ireland. There's actually a course in Ireland that I was fortunate enough to play 2 summers ago called Donegal, Merva. And this course reminded me a lot of this course. Just such a chill vibe. The greens were immaculate. It was like a billiard table. It was so beautiful. And we had a nice day. It was overcast. It was 68. I had the music on, pretty open fairways for the most part. I mean, the thing about that is in those dunes and even in the rough in Nebraska, if you're not an accurate hitter of the golf ball, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble real quick. But anyway, so yeah, the putter was struggling. I was burning edges for the first 3 days. I was frustrated. I got a new ping, great little putter. I went back to my roots, my first putting brand, and so Alice Sheba came on board, and she kind of woke up the whole bag. She woke up the driver, because again, the clubs, they started to look around and they were going, hey, wait a minute, who's this newbie?
Oh, the clubs talk to one another.
Oh yeah, they've got names, they've got there's a whole life, but anyways, long story short, it was a struggling week, and so I was already in a dark place. And then when you see it, I had a little PTSD, right? We come out of halftime. We've been dominating the first half of the game, and we come out the first play out of half, we're in a wrong fit. What? That's not winning football. That's not SEC championship football. That's not college football playoff football. I know it's the second game of the year, and I had to kind of come back, and this is where I am now. It's hard as you age not to become more jaded and more cynical, because majority of the data that you receive isn't great, and you kind of have to have faith. And I was interested with Notre Dame, right? I mean, Notre Dame, before Brian Kelly, there was a malaise. There was a dark period. I mean, was it Charlie Weiss?
Ty Willingham.
Ooh, yeah. But Ty kind of reminds me a little bit of Venables, where culture and program was there. It was just execution. I felt like Ty, I always respected him. I felt like he was trying. And Notre Dame is not an easy place to recruit to because of the academic rigor, because of they've got, the best helmets in football. They've got Touchdown Jesus. They have tons of tradition. But as the game was changing, Notre Dame found itself in this, in the churn.
I'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
I think that Ty was, and this is Tyrone Willingham, the coach.
In over his head?
Is a quality human being. I don't think anybody can say that is not a class act human being. Should have had no business being on our sideline. But I was someone who was excited about the hire. I was like, well, you coming from Stanford and you had some good years at Stanford. If you could do it at Stanford, you could do it, you can do it here. You have more opportunities in Notre Dame than Stanford. And recruiting was abysmal. Just miserable. Charlie Weiss came in, and Charlie Weiss showed that you can recruit there. And that was kind of Brady Quinn years, and Jeff Samardzija years, who was,
Was that when you were in school there?
No, it was still after my
Love me, Jeff Samardzija, one of my
Golden
Chicago Cubs, baby.
Yeah.
And he showed you could recruit there, and he genuinely loves the school. I think he got a bad rap at Notre Dame as a coach, and as you see at any school, when things aren't going how you want them to go, it's never a pretty end for a football coach. Which is unfortunate because he really loved the school. He made a boatload of money.
Except for their bank account,
right. Their bank account's doing great. But I don't think that he'll ever return to South Bend, and I'm curious if his son, who's the OC at Ole Miss now, if he was ever offered the job in 20 years, would he ever take the job? I just think he got mistreated on the way out, which wasn't cool, and not from a lack of love for the school. I think Charlie Weiss legitimately has a genuine love and affinity for Notre Dame.
Was that just with how they let him go? Like, what was the disrespect? I don't even remember.
There were, as in many coaching devolvements, there were loud camps on both sides, and you had people buying billboards and just gross things. He's a bigger guy, right?
There's no doubt that his appearance played into the vitriol.
It was just very unfortunate, and but he showed you could do it. And then the thing that kind of undercut him from the get-go was he could never get the defense right. Offenses were pretty stellar because we had guys like, again, Brady Quinn, but then we had Jimmy Clausen, who was an amazing number one quarterback kid and could sling the ball.
Was he a Tennessee transfer?
Yeah.
Jimmy Clausen? No, he was straight out. He was from California.
I thought he was.
There were multiple Clausens. There were three brothers. And yeah, there was a Clausen that went to Tennessee.
Oh, see.
I was thinking Jimmy also. Wow.
That's a great memory, by the way. So he showed you could recruit, and he just couldn't get it over the hump. I equate Charlie Weiss to the Makovic years at Texas. We're there. Like, we're so close. We're there. We just can't quite get there. And then post Makovic, they hired. Oh my God, what did I just space?
Post Makovic, they hired Mac Brown.
Thank you. And then hired Mac Brown, who obviously took him over the top many times, and
former OU coordinator.
So
which also took several years too.
Post Charlie Weiss, they hired Brian Kelly, and Brian Kelly moved the ball forward. I don't think Brian Kelly should ever return to South Bend.
Only a couple of deaths on his record.
Only a few. And now we have Freeman, and Freeman's taken the ball and moved it forward.
So impressed with Marcus Freeman. I don't know if he gets Notre Dame over the hump, but he's the right guy right now to try and make that happen.
Well, so yeah, let's talk about this weekend's game. This is an interesting matchup. Freeman and Elko in year 2. Really don't know what A&M is.
I didn't even think about Elko's history with Notre Dame. He was DC. Yeah.
We've got strength on strength, right? We've got an Elko defense against Jeremiah Love. I'm expecting to see they're going to make Carr beat him with his arm.
Yeah. As they should.
Run defense has been iffy in spots. A little over pursuit from A&M so far, it looks like. Are they going to be disciplined? But it's also only the second game for Notre Dame, coming off a tough loss in Miami where I felt like Miami did win the line of scrimmage.
100%.
Especially at the end of the game where Notre Dame got within a score and they just needed to make that stop, and Miami shoved it down their throat at the end of the game.
Yeah. And again, I mean, Notre Dame is coming off a great season. They lost some real talent on both sides of the line. I'm thinking this game comes down to kickers.
Notre Dame always has the better kicker. I don't even care who the opponent is.
I was looking at this guy. This is going to be. I mean, he's a transfer from North Carolina. I did a little bit of research here because I do think it's going to come down to kickers. A&M's got a kicker that's been with them for 4 years. My concern, right, is the lights are too bright. First home game, South Bend. You got a kick that you got to make. Does he make it? We'll see.
I don't think it comes down to kickers.
Good.
I don't think it's a blowout, but I don't think it comes down to kickers.
Who do you think wins?
I think Notre Dame wins.
Okay.
And I think it's Notre Dame by 10, maybe more, but not it. I think final scores can be misleading, right? It's just,
Oh yeah.
It can be a 3-point game until a touchdown with a
then
minute
it's-
less.
Then it's all of a sudden it's 10 or it's 17 or whatever it is because
Yeah.
now a team is pressing because they gotta try and something.
Okay, so not a believer in A&M.
Not that I'm not a believer in A&M. I think Elko is a fantastic coach, kind of in the same vein of Marcus Freeman's the right guy for Notre Dame. I think Mike Elko is the right guy, or Freeman's the right guy for Notre Dame. Elko's the right guy for A&M, and if they don't run him off, A&M is going to be a force to be reckoned with, and that could be this year. The reason that I don't think that A&M wins the game is we lost by 3 at Miami, and I don't think that Notre Dame played particularly well. Miami has 2 guys on the defensive line that are dudes.
Right.
The real dudes. Right. And I'm not an X's and O's guy. I didn't play a lot of football competitively growing up, so I don't pretend to be. So I'm going by the videos that I've seen and the message boards that I'm reading and all those things. But the analysis of people breaking down tape from that game was our offensive line and tight ends just didn't block well enough against dudes. And
that's actually shocking coming from Notre Dame because of how good you guys traditionally are at both of those spots.
But in multiple scenarios, you had 6 guys blocking and 5 guys have great blocks, and you see the angle, right? The video's there. You're like, that's a touchdown. That's a 60-yard run. And one guy
gets beat.
doesn't, and it's a 2-yard gain or a 1-yard loss, and it's otherwise wide open. And that was half a dozen or more times.
Well, and
one guy makes a block, and that game's a different game.
Trey, to speak to the expectation, right? So what? Yeah. So let's run that narrative out. Okay. So now you've got a new O-line, you got a game on tape, and you get a bye week. So you get 2 weeks to do nothing but coach up those specific choices of footwork, getting hands on early, whatever it may be. All right. Gosh.
Then on top of that, I thought our defense, we're a man defense. This is what we play. We play man. It was interesting to me that after playing 70% man defense last year, our linebackers played man defense 16% of the snaps in that game.
That's a pretty shocking statistic,
So
right?
I don't know what that means. I'm not the guy. I'm not Chris Ash, the DC, who knows more about this than I do.
Yeah.
There's a reason that we did that. I don't know what that is, but there's a reason that we did that. And is that because you have Carson Beck that is
the matchup,
but that's not really how our team is suited. So will we return back to being more aggressive, having more blitz packages, more exotic blitzes that we had last season? Or is this our new norm? And I would venture that we'll have more blitz packages and more man being played this week. And I'm just...
It's a great matchup.
Miami's a good team.
Yeah, no. And it's an interesting quarterback matchup, right? Because you've got a new quarterback at Carr. You've got, I can't remember the A&M quarterback's name.
Marcel Reed.
Again, Elko says Marcel's got an arm. We believe in him. Everybody's labeled him a running quarterback because that's what we had to do against LSU. So, yeah, he may see a different picture. He may see more man, and then it's like, okay, is he an accurate thrower of the ball?
Interesting. Marcel Reed has a much higher completion percentage inside the hash marks than outside the hash marks. He really struggles with throwing to the outside. I wouldn't want to throw against our secondary. We don't really have a weak link in our secondary. I'm optimistic.
Oh man, I'm fired up. Is it Saturday yet? Let's watch some football.
You saying that makes me wonder if Chris Ash was trying to see bigger picture with how he ran that defense in the first game of the season. One, to challenge Carson Beck because he was coming off of a serious elbow injury and subsequent surgery, but also knowing that he would be going up against Marcel Reed that very next game. And so you're either running cloud or cover 3, coverage to make sure that there's always somebody deep, because Marcel Reed has a great deep ball, while also mucking up the middle a little bit and forcing him to try and hit some of those routes along the sidelines.
So we'll find out.
We'll see.
So you asked, that's why we're here. I think Notre Dame wins. I think it's a great game. I went to the one last season in College Station. College Station I hadn't been to in 25 years. College Station to me was a top 5 venue for college football.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of the Milkmen with the overalls, but
The Ice Cream Boys?
yeah, Ice Cream Boys, we got to figure something out with them. But 107,000 people chanting in unison very, very loudly sells. I thought everybody there was amazingly hospitable. At no point did I feel unsafe. At no point, even after Notre Dame won, walking out, did I feel like I'm getting a bunch of grief from fans. All I heard was "Welcome to College Station."
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yep.
Hope you had a great time. Great win. Right? It was.
Well, I've got to speak. That brings up my game day experience this past Saturday in Lincoln. Holy cow. What a college football scene. I mean,
Everybody hospitable too?
Oh, my Lord. I mean,
You know, there is one exception in terms of teams going to Lincoln at this point.
yes,
right?
I know. Yeah.
The Texas Longhorns.
Oh, I know.
That's what
Yeah.
we did to Nebraska.
Oh, no. I mean, I went up to every older Nebraska fan I could find, and I asked them, hey, I'm a Sooner. Are you rooting for Oklahoma today or Michigan? Because of the Big Ten allegiance versus the old rival. And all the young guys I spoke to were, Michigan. We need Michigan to be good, so when we beat them, blah, blah, blah. All the older folks, oh, no, Oklahoma. And then eventually Texas would come up, and it's like, yeah, there's one school that Nebraska does not like, and that is the University of Texas. So I felt right at home. I was like, bring it in, brother. I was like, will you adopt me? And honestly, I was in such a dark place because of the golf and part of the OU. I was like, you know what? If OU loses this game, I might just become a Nebraska fan. They've got.
Now, that was the first game that they served alcohol in the stadium?
It was the first stadium. It was the first time that they had alcohol in the stadium.
Is it still rule at
Oh yeah,
Nebraska?
yeah.
They're gonna be good. Don't mess with that dude.
Did you see that halftime speech? He gave a halftime speech. They were up 33-0, and he was like, "I want you to. I don't want this team to ever want to come and play us again." He's like, "I want you to finish them." He's like, "They don't respect." I mean, Rule is a coach. There is just no doubt about it. And you drive through. It was interesting because I had never been to Nebraska. And we did a lot of driving because the courses that we were in, it was all over the state. So we flew into Omaha, drove north, drove west, drove back down south, and then back east, and did basically the full square that is Nebraska. And up in the northern sand hills in those small towns, which, of course, in this day and age are struggling, and you can see the struggle. You just know that there's an offensive lineman, out in the field that's just waiting to just
eating
push.
corn.
Oh, just eating corn and just, pushing big old cows over and just is ready. He's a 12-year-old. He's probably like 6'4", 230. And he's just waiting to put on that red and white. And, man, that clean in, the black shirts. I mean, it was really neat to see. And it was a lot of fun for sure. And it's, but again, it makes me think A&M, right, where it's like going to those venues and seeing that tradition. It made me miss the fact that Oklahoma isn't playing Nebraska anymore. It makes me miss, it's like, I remember when Oklahoma had a home with Notre Dame. It's my favorite. I mean, granted, Manti Te'o and Landry Jones kicked our ass in Norman. So much so that I have these, I've got these red.
You said Landry Jones?
Landry Jones was our QB.
Oh, okay. You said Manti Te'o and Landry Jones,
Yeah,
but you're splitting those two up.
And we should have won. That was a big game. I think it was 1-2 or 1-3. It was a high-ranked matchup.
That was a night game, right? It
was a night game.
I remember watching that game in Chicago.
I had my red corduroy pants on. I was all Switzered out. I had my Switzer jacket. We were ready to roll. And, man, I went to another dark place then. If you're catching a theme, I can get dark pretty quick.
When you're a bookkeeper, it's kind of par for the course.
Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. Let me just take it every freaking day.
Okay, so we just talked about Nebraska and their first ever home game with alcohol sales. I would be remiss not to talk about a highlight for you in your legal career, and that would be the ability to get cocktails to go legal here in the state of Texas during COVID. You're a big wine guy. Most great bottles of wine, especially over a certain price point, have an interesting story behind them. So what is the story behind you making cocktails to go happen? And on behalf of millions of Texans, I don't know what the number is. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
A lot of business owners say thank you as well.
This is, by the way, what a transition that was. Did you hear that?
I know. He's a pro.
It's the one thing that no one will ever talk about that I did. I didn't get paid a penny for it. And there will be no sign and no anythings. And the Texas Restaurant Association will take the credit for doing it. And that's fine. COVID hit, and all of a sudden, all the restaurants are closed. We don't have PPP dollars yet. We don't know what that is. EIDL didn't exist. We don't know what that is. But you can't leave your house. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go to a bar. And what people don't realize about restaurants is they look sexy. They are the most intense retail use out there, period, bar none. There's not a close second. The closest second is a dry cleaning facility because they have environmental issues. The reason that restaurants are so intense and the reason that I have a job that exists is they need us so many different ways. And I won't talk about me, this stick on the restaurants here. Building out a restaurant from scratch, it's a nice restaurant, is now $2 million.
Or more.
Or more.
Probably
God.
more.
What?
Probably more. Yeah. I mean, even a small coffee wine shop is probably $2.
Oh my God.
The equipment is real. You cut the slab of the shopping center, like the concrete floors, you cut that like it's normal. You're bringing in massive saws to cut in and rough in your plumbing. If you're not going into a new center where they can run your plumbing,
Right. If it's not white box for you, you're making
You're literally trenching concrete, cutting rebar. You're penetrating a roof that is worth millions and millions of dollars with warranties that you can't mess with, and you pop through the roof like, yeah, that's fine. It's Tuesday. What else are we going to be doing? We're popping through the roof. Vent hoods are $500,000 or more. HVAC systems are $500,000 or more. The rest of the kitchen equipment is massively expensive. And on top of that, unlike any other retail use, go into a jewelry store, go into a little dress shop or a boutique or whatever. That's drywall, and there's some cabinetry. You can't chintz on any of the finishes. You can tell when you walk in to a place that's chintzed on the finishes. You know it, you feel it. You don't exactly know why, but you don't feel comfortable there, and you probably won't go back. On top of all of that, if that wasn't enough, you're going to have exponentially more employees than any other retail use. Go to a restaurant, how many people are working? 15 minimum. I mean, even if it's a slow restaurant, you got 3, 4 guys, 5 guys in the kitchen. You don't even see them, even if you only have 2 or 3 servers out on the floor. So at a minimum, right, you've got maybe 15's too high. A slow restaurant with no one in it has 8 or 9 people working at any given time. Even if they're at minimum wage, which they're not, you're at hundreds and hundreds of dollars per hour just to operate. So when lunch, nobody shows up because it was raining, there's literally thousands of dollars, $1,000, $2,000 that's just poof, gone. Your inventory, like if that wasn't enough, your inventory is perishable. You have to buy more, regardless of whether or not somebody buys the existing product. If you own a wine store, nobody buys wine today, that's cool. We'll just sell it tomorrow, or an engagement ring, or a dress, or whatever it is. Wagyu beef, buy some more. We just didn't sell it, so maybe we could repurpose it into something. But otherwise,
that's why every restaurant has a burger.
Yep, right.
Trim off of those high cuts of beef. Again, you have to find ways to take those high cost ingredients because you are going to be ordering them. And so ultimately it's like, okay, well, they're not buying that cut on the steak. So let's put a burger on the menu. It's going to be a delicious freaking burger. But now all of a sudden, because of the source of the ingredient, you price it out and you're like, this is a $20 burger.
This is what it is, right?
And that's why you see $20 hamburgers on menus everywhere, because they have to sell it and they want to give it to you in a way that you're interested and that you will purchase it. You're not buying the steak for whatever reason, probably because you think you can cook a steak better. Fine.
I can.
Fine. More power to you. But at the same time, that's why you can't complain about an $18 burger. Just buy your $18 burger and enjoy it because it's helping.
100%.
Yeah.
So going into COVID, sorry to just you've got these massively intense retail uses with operating costs that are really, really, really significant, and that's not touching insurance, that's not touching your liquor liability, that's not touching all the other stuff that's just nobody thinks about.
Linen, paper. I mean, gosh, what I'm seeing in paper right now,
it's crazy.
Plastic gloves.
What do you mean by paper?
Like you print your menus every day.
Well, or just paper on the plates, to go boxes, like all these choices about being compostable and like where do they come from? Where is it manufactured? Oh, it's from China. It's got a tariff on it. Now all of a sudden we're spending $5,000 a month on paper and packaging.
It's real, right? So.
By the way, to pause real quick, I love how deep we're getting in this conversation with two people who see things from such a crazy esoteric perspective that is so important that nobody ever thinks about. Like, this is all so eye-opening.
This is X's and O's of the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Dozens of your listeners are riveted.
There's dozens of us.
Dozens.
But yeah, no, I mean, it is.
Costs.
It's funny. This is the X's and O's of the business. And, I think, again, most people look at the Jimmy's and Joe's, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that bartender's killer. Oh, that chef's got a Michelin star. Oh, that makes that restaurant great. It's like, well, no, some restaurants are great because they make all the right choices. They make all those choices, and they strike that balance between, how do I create an experience that my guest is going to like, and simultaneously, how do I make money doing it?
100%.
And it is razor thin margins. Everybody's heard it. It's a little too cliche, but again, this goes back to alcohol being, because of its lack of perishability, alcohol sales are the best margin in the business. It is the grease on the cogs of the machine. And so in COVID, restaurants were facing an incredibly difficult thing because the food experience, the to-go experience, while good and helpful, requires much more labor and much more expensive ingredients in order to make your margin. So without alcohol, restaurants are I don't think that restaurants can exist without alcohol. And we're seeing this now in a different way because people are drinking less, whether that be the GLP ones that they're on that they order less beer. But in COVID, we couldn't give you alcohol. And
for 90 days anyway.
Yes, for 90 days. No, I remember talking to you during this, and I saw you sprung into action in that space because you understood just how vital that revenue stream was to survival.
It was huge. I was sitting on my couch, and my cell phone's just blowing up. People are scared. People were legitimately terrified because they don't have the run rate. They don't have the savings. Restaurants that we all go to, every listener that hears this, it's the owners of those restaurants calling me going, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have inventory that's literally rotting, and I have employees that I have to pay, and how long is this going to go, and how am I going to make ends meet? And I have rent that's due, and that's $25,000, or more. I have some clients with rent that's $70,000 a month. That's huge. What are you going to do with no sales? Like you're screwed. And I thought to myself on that couch, I was like, I've got to do something. Like the Hajjar house is going to be okay, but like I got to do something. And so I reached out to, we'll name names on your show.
Let's do it.
I reached out to a guy named David Jabbour, amazing human. David Jabbour he and his sister and family own Twin Liquors. And I said, David, Twin Liquors has a wholesale business. They're the ones that sell liquor to bars and restaurants. And also, as we all know, we can go to our neighborhood Twin Liquor store and buy our beer, wine, and spirits. And funny enough, David was my father's banker when David was like 23 years old. I've known him since I was a kid. So amazing human, amazingly kind-hearted, generous, professional human being, amazing human. I said, David, we got to do something. And David said, yeah, we do. I was like, David, your wholesale trucks are just sitting, right? They can't distribute either. So you're sitting too. And David said, I understand. David's on the board of the Texas Package Store Association. And he connected me with the head of the Texas Package Stores. Amazingly enough, right, they were very cautious and said, look, we aren't we're not just jumping in this. We see the need. It's not that we don't see the need. We care about people's lives and drinking and driving more than we care about money. And I was like, okay, right? That's a big statement. So he's like, I want to help, but we need to wait until we know what this would look like. So Kareem, go spin the plates, go start this, and we're gonna chill and watch and study. Other states moved far faster than Texas. Far faster. And what I did was rally troops. Having so many bars and restaurants, I very quickly had a core group, I mean literally thousands of bars and restaurants that were ready at any minute to get on calls, get on Zooms, put petitions together. And when you have that many in one coalition, you have momentum. So I literally dealt with the Texas Package Store Association, Discus, which is the Distilled Spirits Council. There are 2 different beer associations that I dealt with. We also have a Texas Wine Growers Association, Texas Beer Association, and then lastly, the Texas Restaurants. Texas Restaurants wasn't really big on cocktails to go, even though they are the ultimate party that got to get the ribbon.
Is that because of the liability?
It's a great question. There are YouTube videos out there where as we're fighting for this, there's YouTube videos of people at TRA who were like, enough. You can find it because I sent it around an email back in the day. I was like, where the high ups are like, stop talking about this. It's not going to happen. We have bigger fish to fry. And I'm like, this is the only fish worth frying. I don't know what else we're talking about right now. So I just pushed. I just pushed and pushed and pushed. And then there was change. Then there was movement by an association that will remain nameless that said, okay, we've seen it now. 15, 16 states, maybe more, had already adopted it. And you could see data as to whether or not drunk driving was any higher or lower post these states adopting cocktails to go. And I just got a phone call from this association that said, okay, a meeting has been arranged. It will not be our association that is going to take the lead on this. But okay.
But they facilitated the meeting.
And there was a facilitation of a meeting, and it was worked out with the governor's office and Texas Restaurant Association got to carry the banner.
Did you sit down with Greg Abbott?
I never met him.
Okay.
I spoke to him, just people in his office.
And I just go back
Cocktails
to
to Go became a reality. And to be clear, because people have said that I did it permanently, I had zero to do with it being permanent. I think it being approved in COVID allowed it to happen, because then you saw, no, in fact, there weren't more drunk driving accidents at all. It didn't happen at all. And you had to keep them sealed. You had to keep them away from the driver. You had to put them in the back seat. So anybody that has a propensity to drink and drive is going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And those that wanted to go buy frozen margaritas with their Mexican food, put them where they should have been, which is in the trunk or in the back, far away, and in sealed containers as they were required to by law. And you just didn't see the data that showed it, that it went up. It didn't. And so then as the next legislative session came around, it became permanent. And so now we have it. And I think it's a great ancillary service for restaurants to compete. We haven't seen it post-COVID. We haven't seen it be used as much as I would have expected it to be used. That being said, something you said, Brian, about alcohol consumption being down, restaurants being on narrower and narrower margins, that's real. That's the National Restaurant Convention happened this past week, and that was a front and center of it, was how are dining habits changed post GLP-1, and now you have people splitting an appetizer, not even splitting an entree, we're splitting an appetizer, and
with an industry that was already dealing with razor thin margins.
So I think you will see restaurants pivoting to smaller plates because people aren't eating them, faster turn times at tables, and leaning into, okay, people aren't buying 5 drinks anymore. The table's not buying 5 drinks anymore. Maybe we can we start pushing more of our cocktails to go to let people take that with them, whereas we didn't really need to before. Now that COVID's over, we haven't needed it. I'm guessing you're going to start seeing that become a bigger segment in restaurants, just because the margins are so tight.
Yeah, it's a tough industry for sure, and that's, there's always a new challenge. It seems about every 18 months there's something new that's thrown their way, and you got to pivot and try your best to meet your customers where they are. I was on a panel this week with the Texas Food and Wine Alliance, who I'll give a shout out here. They run a grant program. Anybody in the industry that is looking to further Texas food and wine, look at their grant program and apply, because they are trying to support folks that are trying to do new things in Texas, in the world, in the culinary world. But yeah, I mean, it's always something, right? I mean, it is you try and be proactive as much as you can, but it is a very reactive business. You have to take, and what I said on that panel is, you have to, it's still a people business at its core. You have to understand your employees and where they are in their lives and the challenges that they're facing in terms of living in Austin and the cost of living. And then you've got to talk to your customers about what they like, what they don't like, and how to change. And, some restaurants are really good. They're like speedboats. They can turn on a dime and keep hanging, but some of them are big. They're big, tankers. They're big, and so they can't turn on a dime, and it is hard and it takes time. And so, I think that for me, I always go back to, it's like if I were to wave a magic wand, and say, okay, how would you want your guest to be? It's a lot like Kareem. Curious. Be curious ask questions, like ask your server, ask the manager, ask the host, what's your favorite dish? What's the thing that you eat after shift? Like, be curious about your experience, and then kind of trust that these people are they want you to have a great time. Like, they are motivated for you to have a wonderful experience. Ask a question. Don't heel dig. Don't say you only like, I don't like this. I only like it cooked this way. that's not why you're going out. You know, if you like it cooked that way, HEB's got a great selection. Central Market, go home and make yourself some food. But these people are really, really trying to meet you where you are and turn you on to new wines, new cocktails, new ingredients on their menu, new desserts. So I would say that be curious, not judgmental, to borrow from Ted Lasso. You're going to have a better experience, and the team's going to have a better experience. That restaurant's going to be happy because they're like, oh man, they were great. They tried everything and they had a good time. And, you know, it was like, that's what we want. We're supposed to be having joy in these restaurants. It's not supposed to be a downer. You're not like, if you don't feel good, go to a restaurant, sit by yourself at a bar and just talk to the bartender, you know. And I mean, I'd be remiss, obviously, with the national news from yesterday. You know, it hits me every time I see these tragic, horrific things across the country. We gotta talk to each other. We gotta see our shared humanity more. Everybody is just trying to wake up today and do the best they know how with what they're trying to do. And, you know, we spend way too much time. I think it's why I love college football, because it goes back to these old rivalries and it goes back to these old ways of being. And we all kind of have the nostalgia, right? It's fun to compete. But at the end of it, you know, these are kids on the other side of the ball. These are parents on the other side of the political divide. Like, we got to be human first. And everything else, you know, there's times, there's arguments, I get it. But golly, can't we take care of each other? Can't we just have a good glass of wine and just say, hey man, tough day. I disagree with you, but let's go get a bite.
You guys know what's tougher than making ends meet at a new restaurant or having that hard conversation with the person next to you who doesn't feel the way that you do about things? Breaking par on the golf course.
What a great transition.
Oh, man.
Kareem, you were telling me about something before we started broadcasting today. You are an avid golfer, as is my guy, Brian Stubbs here. But you were telling me about something that you and a group of golfing buddies do that is, it sounds really fun, to be blunt, even though I suck at golf. So what exactly is it the birdie challenge that you call it?
We have a good birdie game going on right
now.
Birdie game's great.
What is the birdie game?
Are you familiar with the birdie game?
Oh, yeah. I know your birdie game.
So this started, apparently the origin of this is secondhand, right? I wasn't there. So Sergio Garcia, professional golfer, lives in Austin, belongs to Austin Golf Club out towards Spicewood. So apparently he had a friendly wager with a group of members that he could birdie all of the holes at Austin Golf Club before this group of members could birdie all the holes at Austin Golf Club. Don't know who won, but whatever it was, whatever the wager was, that sounded like a lot of fun. And so some members at Austin Country Club decided to start a birdie game. And so they had a group of friends that they had a similar wager, and that then trickled down to guys my age. And so we have 32 golfers that we draft. People come in and out of the game if you're having a kid and you can't, or you just, this season I can't play in this one or whatever. But we have 32 guys. We get drafted, like fantasy football draft. You can play like 5 rounds a month. There's 5 rounds a month this
or
round.
Counters, yeah.
And you're capped at 6 birdies, and everybody has to have at least one birdie. You have to report your birdie by the end of the day of which you make it. So once it's off the board, it's off the board. But it's a lot of fun, man. Like it gets everybody enthused, and your text message threads are pretty badass, and it's a lot of trash talking and a lot of great banter, and it's been fun, man. I don't name my clubs like you, but
well, maybe that's the problem.
But they've been hot lately.
Maybe that's the problem. I'm putting the entire family on the shelf, and I'm just going to start hitting. I'm going to start hitting my Persimmons and my '83 Hogans from here on out, because these names are not doing anything. I talk to them, I take care of them, and they don't take care of me. What's that about?
I throw my clubs so they don't.
Well, like I said, my three wood. If anybody plays Arbor Links in Nebraska City, there is a 3-wood in a cornfield. It's a very nice 3-wood. It's a Titleist TSR3, and it's sitting there. And to really bring the whole experience home, so I tossed the 3-wood into the cornfield. My guys, I was like, y'all go on. I was like, I'm walking it off. So I walk into the cornfield. I spent about 5 minutes there, higher than
Legit looking for your club.
Legit looking for my club. Can't find it. It was like a katana blade. I mean, I probably took out, a good nice row of corn, but I couldn't find it in the field. I was looking for Ray Liotta. I was looking for Kevin Costner. And so then I eventually decided, okay, I'm just going to walk up this last hole, and I'm walking up, and I'm walking. There's a caddy for the group behind us looking at me like, what is going on here? This guy has lost it. And I finally get to one of my golf partners that I was playing with, and he's got a gnarly lie in the rough, and he kind of drop kicks it, and it takes 2 bounces, rolls onto the green, and goes in the hole.
Get out.
Last shot of the golf trip, he makes a birdie and because he's not a big hitter, he's like a 12 handicap. And we're competing. We had a 5-day competition. We had quota, we had skins, we had back 9, front 9, we had overall. And so and again, the thing about the handicap system, right, is it equalizes, right? It's like I may be the best handicap in the group, but they're getting shots on me. So if I don't play to my cap, I'm going to lose.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I had just been beat down. Just too many good golf shots ending up in bad places. Just flushed an 8-iron over a green. Don't know why it went over. It was into the wind, and it just lost ball. Just things like that where it's like I couldn't have hit that golf shot any better with the right club, and I didn't get rewarded for it. Hey, so be it. That's the game, I suppose. But yeah, so when I'm walking up behind him and I see him freaking drop kick this ball, doesn't hit it clean, barely gets it out of the rough, and I was like, oh God. I was like, that's going to go in. I was like, go in, and it goes in, and I'm just like, this game's stupid. I'm out of here. But yeah, so anybody need a 3-wood? Nebraska City off the 9th tee.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that you love golf, Stubbs.
Oh, I love golf. Again, going back to,
he loves it so much that he started coaching for the middle school team.
Yeah. I mean, what I love about it, and I was telling my daughter this because she's playing volleyball now, and she had a tough game, and she was kind of frustrated, with team dynamics. And I said, so the thing about golf is, that's the one thing is you don't have anybody to blame but yourself.
It's all on you.
It's on you. And there is an element to that game
except with scrambles.
Yeah, scrambles are fun. I might only be a scramble golfer from here on out, Kareem. So, no, it's fun to play team golf, of course. But I think that also, there is an element to that where it's like, hey, you got to own your own mistakes, right? It's like, that's on you. You swung the golf club. You picked the club. You did that. I just, again, been playing for 30 years, so I get jaded. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is, trying at golf is maybe my problem. Maybe I just need to be, it's like maybe my goal needs to be have the most fun on the course. But, I'm a competitive SOB, so.
My handicap has dropped significantly.
Good, I'll take some shots.
I'll show you. I have a muse. In golf, and it's I don't know, Japanese or Korean man.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think I've seen him.
It's like Tiger Golf TV or something for anybody that's like just wants to find this dude on Instagram. And he looks like it looks so effortless.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And his little slogan that stuck with me is it said "Swing without strength or greed." In his caption of this thing, and he just up, and there it goes. And I thought to myself over the summer as I've been struggling with driver for literally years. I was like, okay, I'm going to try this round, and I don't care what I shoot. I'm just going to swing
without strength or greed,
and just try to do what he's doing. And I hit a cover off the ball.
Yeah.
Trying. It was.
I had a similar one. I did have a moment where I played well on this trip, and my coworker and good friend sent me an Instagram, Wave God Wilcox, and he was a professional player that now caddies for Sanjay M. And same thing, like you watch his swing, and it's just butter. It's just like this champagne. It's just like so pure and so smooth, and it's like, yeah, it's like don't try so hard. Enjoy the process, all those things. So. Well, Kareem, we always wrap up our Thursday Supper Club, Austin Supper Club, with a recommendation or kind of favorite thing you've eaten or consumed in the past week or so. You can shout out a client.
Specific dish, specific beverage, restaurant.
Yeah, so where have you been enjoying dining out in Austin recently?
So... I was not ready for this. I should have gotten a little bit.
No, you're good.
Up on this one.
Like I said, you can go to the old standby for the family, or you can say, "Hey, I just finished a big project and I'm going to go celebrate."
So I'll go with my favorite dish. Period.
Okay.
And we eat it on the reg. I've been trying to also eat a little bit less. While as I drink champagne, drink a little bit less.
Part of the problem. Go ahead.
And right. And so when we go out on a date night, I made the decision. I'm no longer drinking crappy wine. We're just not doing it. It's if I'm going to drink a good glass of wine, it's going to be a good glass of wine. And if I'm going to eat a bite of food, it's going to be a really good bite of food. So I'm going to go with top to bottom the tasting menu at Hestia. Badass. Specifically in that tasting menu, because it does change, but they will never change. There is a scallop in beef tallow that is a life-changing bite of food.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
And everything's on live fire.
Did you know it was the summer of scallops?
I did not know.
That's true.
Sorry. Our sometimes co-host, Matthew Odom, declared it the summer of scallops. So
he hasn't talked about that one yet, though.
That's true.
Well, the scallop, it's their scallop on that tasting menu is in beef tallow, and they bring it out and they literally just pour it. They just spoon it out onto this amazing scallop that they've pre-sliced, and it is an absolutely sinful, over the top, hedonistic bite of food that you're like, that's it.
That's a winner.
That's it. If this is the moment, like this is it. Let's go. I'm ready. That's my bite still. I'm trying to think of anything that's.
No, that's a great bite. That's a great bite. Trey, you wanna go?
Okay, so I have one that pays homage to Kareem and the cocktails to go, and then another one that it gets too much love, but I had it for the first time, so I got to give it some extra mention too. Thank you for Cocktails to Go. I'm not just saying that for me. I'm saying that for a lot of other people who drink and also a lot of other restaurant owners, including my guy Jason Carrier at Mama Betty's. They do a phenomenal job with their Cocktails to Go. The food in general is great. We get it in that northwest part of Austin. They're bringing a central location to Burnett just south of Anderson Lane, but the Cocktails to Go are outstanding to go along with everything else that they do well. And then also...
Client, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
Hi, Jason.
Jason's great people. He tends to listen to these episodes too. So what's up, Jason? Thank you for everything. Really looking forward to the pizza place that's coming into that same shopping section, Happy Slice Pizza. And then also, speaking of pizza, Home Slice. Yeah, I know, it's been around forever. I'm not talking about the pizza, though. The pizza's really good. Their sandwiches. The sub.
The Italian sub.
Oh, my God. I didn't even have the Italian yet. I just had the turkey sub. That bread is made fresh in-house every day. The turkey is really good. I can only imagine how good the Italian is. But their subs, a lot of things, you hear the hype, and the hype is almost too much. It's too loud. This hype is not too loud. It isn't loud enough, in my opinion.
No, their sub is not Arch Manning. It's legit.
The Italian sub at Home Slice is a religious experience.
Legitimate. Okay.
Legitimate.
I haven't had it yet. Even the turkey sub is that good.
I love the pizza there. Also a client. But
We'll be talking to them here in a little
right.
bit.
Yeah.
it's when my kids are like, we're ordering home slice. I don't even touch the pizza, which is delicious. Might have one slice of the cheese.
Yeah,
But
I get the slice of pizza, but I also am getting the sub
Italian
now.
sub, and you order the big one. Like, don't order the halfie because you're going to be disappointed in yourself that you only ordered the half.
With the hot peppers.
Order just, yes.
How you want it.
The Italian comes with the Sicilian peppers on it. It will change your life. And if you're trying to put on weight, I found your way to do it. You can eat it every day.
Well, mine is not from Austin because I was in Nebraska playing shitty golf. Sorry, bleep that. Because I was in Nebraska playing poor golf, I was in the bowels of Lincoln Memorial Stadium watching the first half, trying to find a Wi-Fi signal, trying to find a phone charger because my phone was out of battery, and I had a Runza. A Runza is a famous Nebraska. It's basically a pierogi, kind of a almost calzone, kind of beef sauerkrauty kind of thing. Very
Like wrapped in bread?
yeah,
Like it's
wrapped
tucked
in bread, tucked in, wrapped. They had, Runza is the brand. They've got Runza places all over Nebraska. And so I had a Runza, and I had what did I end up drinking? I think I had a Runza and a Modelo. But it was first half, and John Mateer was making some great runs, and the defense was pushing the line around, and I was like, you know what, that's a pretty good sandwich. So if you ever find yourself in Lincoln, you need a little fast food grab and go, grab a Runza. It'll keep you in the dark place for a little bit longer. So
Kareem, thank you so much for the time. For anybody who's maybe interested in contacting you or your offices that are in the restaurant or hospitality business, how can they do so?
So you can find us online, legalstrategy.com. You can shoot me an email, khajjar@legalstrategy.com. We have a phone also. You can just follow us.
you've got a phone?
Yeah. Phones, multiple.
Big time. Look at you.
A fax machine. It's not hard to find us. Just Kareem Hajjar is not one that gets buried in the results when you look for
Good
it.
SEO name.
Oh yeah,
So.
great SEO name.
Well, and again,
We're around.
thank you so much, not only for joining us today, but for all the help you've given both clients and non-clients here in the area over the last 15, 20 years. You've helped a lot of people, and it's great to drink some champagne with you.
Likewise, man. Thank you very much.